Hi there, and welcome to BidBot's first episode of Bid Writer's Best Friend. What we're going to cover today is we're going to show you how to use our platform to both automate your content and as well as review it. This will provide you as a good example if you watch this prior to coming to our workshops, which are going to be run throughout September and onwards. So let's get started. So what we're going to do is we'll just call this IT supply. So this is where you set up your bid responses. So what this is allowing you to do is add all your questions, but just for today, we're just going to put the one question in. We'll just call that methodology. Just question through here. Now you can bulk upload these, which is a lot quicker if you've got multiple responses through the automated bid setup. But for now, we're just going to put it through here. Okay, cool. So we've put our first question in there. We're just going to press on one of these, just so it pulls it through. We'll touch on requirements and personas once we get to the main bid response page, and also suggested paragraphs. You can also, what we're going to do today is save to the bid library, which means we can work on the responses within the platform. If you're here just for a quick analysis, for example, if you want to get your entire bid reviewed against your tender documentation, against the requirements, the personas and the ingredients, then yeah, you can have your entire bid reviewed within a minute. Click generate analysis, and then it will extract an Excel sheet of all the scores and suggestions and automated snippets showing how to improve. We're going to save to bid library there and create the bid folder. Okay, now here we are is at the bid page. So it's pulled through the question and it's already analysed against the ingredients. It's not done the personas and requirements yet. So what we can do here, update here. What we'll now do is we'll click into the individual response. Okay, now what you can see is the question response has been pulled through. So for example, if you were going to do this on a 10 response or even 20 responses, it's a really powerful tool to get it instantly analyzed from your question responses. Obviously, we've just done it for ingredients, but you can have it throughout the requirements personas. Okay, so what we'll do now is you can see the question and the answer in here. So now we're going to add the customer requirements. We'll just call this IT laptop supply. So what this is going to do now is if we click generate requirements in the bid files, it's going to look at the question, look at the requirements through the ITT or the specification, and then it's going to automate questions to ask on your response. So let's just click generate here. Okay, now you can see that it's reviewed requirements and it's looking at these specific things across the custom requirements and the question requirements. So we'll just save that here. Okay, now that's saved. What we'll do is we will come back to that as well, and we're going to add a custom category as well. Okay, so what we're going to call this is evidence. So question name again, we'll just call this case study evidence. So what we're going to do here is once we do the analysis, we want it to actually ask the question of how well is the evidence in the response aligned to the specification, because as I've seen over 8 years of bidding, some people will put case studies in, but they might be relevant to the delivery slightly or relevant to the solution slightly, but most of the time it's not really well specific to the requirements. So for example, this one's across IT laptops across multiple schools. I've seen it before where someone might put a case study in for one school, so that doesn't take into account all the logistical and operation challenges. So we'll ask the question in here, and then it will analyze it against the response. Okay, so the last questionnaire description is operational and so you could go into more detail and have more categories, but just for the purpose of this one, we're just going to do this. This is full. Now you could probably look at putting in the operational logistical challenges. You could look at is there any value adds of the evidence they did similar to requirements, and what the solutions were. So there's a lot more you can put in here, and all of it is customizable. So what we'll do is we will now to reduce these down. So we'll just put them to 0.2 each because we need to make sure it equals 1 so we can do the analysis. So the system is quite smart, so we will look at categories and go which ones are more important. But just for this one, it's just done them equally. And yeah, some categories it will provide maybe one or also maybe two actual subcategories as well to analyze against. So we'll just, for the purpose of this one, we'll just start 5 onto there. Okay, cool. So update requirements. So that is looking at it from a customer requirements perspective to cover, as you can see, timely laptop delivery, compliant end life cycling, disposable services, and we've also put an evidence-based one in there as well. So you can always use this in the future as well if you have a client you're consistently working with and you might be falling short on key requirements, or they might have even spoke to you and said before the bid, these are key things we want you to look at, but they might not actually be in the tender. So that gives you a distinct advantage if you can analyze your responses against that. Okay, so now you can see that in there. So what we'll do is we'll work on personas now. So the role personas is to basically create your own virtual army of bid reviewers, whether you want it to be a delivery manager, a solution lead, anything you can think of. And also, when what we'll do in this one is an actual evaluator. So, for example, IT laptop supply, we'll put a head teacher in because they want to really ensure that these logistical operation challenges are being met. And we've got to think of the safety and welfare of the children as well. What we'll also do is we'll put an account manager and HP specialist as well. So, for example, if the requirements are for HP laptops, then why not create an automated persona which is around HP specialist account managers? How we see this working is we we see this as the smaller to medium enterprise can really compete against bigger companies to create their own virtual army. So, for example, when I'm using this, I've done a recent bid in facilities management where I did every single response, automated it, reviewed it, and then created 4 or 5 personal virtual personal personas across each of the responses to really call out what you need and pull out from requirements. But whereas personas is looking at it from, okay, well, what does an account manager need? Excuse me, what does an account manager need based off the requirements? What does the head teacher look for based off the requirements? So let's just generate personas now. So we'll add in. So what we do is you can add in. So we'll put IT account manager specializing in HP laptops. So what we're doing here is we're putting in optional personas because you can create personas by just clicking generate. But what you can also do is you can actually tell it to create some of your own based off your own experience of doing these bids. So we'll put head teacher, here it's focused on the welfare of kids, quality of work. You can put whatever you in here. I've not scripted this, so I'm just firing in some examples for you. And then, okay, yeah, we'll do a school IT manager as well because they will probably review the bid, viewing the response for compliance and high quality of products. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. So what we do is then once you've done that is you click generate persona as well because it's going to generate personas both off the requirements and as well as the ones I've put in as well. So we'll click generate there. Okay, cool. So what it's done is it's created an IT account manager, HP laptops. It's created a head teacher. It's created a school IT manager and an environmental compliance officer as well. One what I'd have probably added in there as well is the IT delivery manager as well. So you could go back and put a delivery manager in there because it's 1,000 laptops. It's going across multiple schools, but also the requirements will cover that as well. So we'll click save there. Okay, so you can see here compliance officer, school IT manager. So okay, that's fine. So yeah, we could actually go and create another one as well. So what we'll do is just so you can see for the purpose of this, we want a delivery manager. We'll go project manager to oversee delivery. Okay, so we'll just do it again just so you can see. Okay, so correct here. So IT account manager, teacher, school time, IT manager, and project manager. So click save. So what it does at the moment is it will add all the additional ones in as well as the first ones you've done. So what we'll do is we'll keep the IT manager in, head teacher, school IT manager, and environmental compliance officer. So we've already got that one there, so we'll delete that. We've already got head teacher, got the account manager, head teacher, IT manager, compliance officer. So we'll remove that one, and then yeah, we'll keep the project manager because we've got that one now. So what we're going to do is as well, we're going to generate paragraphs. So what the paragraphs will do is based on the scoring and suggestions, it will then create content automated snippets based off the requirements. So this is really key for working at speed to add in content aligned to your requirements. So a lot of people will fully content automate a response, or they will use boilerplate content, which has obviously been done since Big Start. So what this really allows to do is when I see it from starting from an initial storyboard or a more basic draft with some word count remaining, once you do the automated snippets, then that's pulling it from the requirements. So it's making very specific to this bid. So let's just drop back here. We'll add it onto the requirements as well to generate. Okay, so what we've done is we've got the custom question requirements, we've got the role personas, and then we've also got best practice, which is ensure that from my analysis of reviewing bids over the years that these key ingredients are in because this is really the makeup of agnostic across service or industry what needs to be in from my experience. So we'll click that and then we'll generate a report. Okay, so now we can see the report has finished. So the purpose of this now is going, okay, we've scored 56%. We can see all the scores are in amber, so need improving. So in my eyes, what I would look to do first is I'd look to improve on the requirements. I see requirements as the most important thing because it's aligned to the customer documentation. And then what I would then look at is also the role personas, so the individual. So, what's the head teacher looking for? What's the IT project manager looking for? Okay, so let's have a look at requirements. So what we scored poorly again. So client requirement, okay, so he thinks the methodology is okay in there. Time laptop delivery could be better. So just for the purpose of this, let's have a look at the end of life disposal because it's pretty poor, 43%. And then also evidence is at 58%. So we were looking at this from a methodology point of view. So end of life recycling, we would look to put that here. So if we click on compliant end life cycling, what it does is it shows the description, shows the reason of what you've done. It shows you the improvements, and then it shows the suggested paragraph as well. So how I see content automation is instead of content automating 1,000 words, actually doing content automation snippets based on the requirements, so you can quickly put them in there. So that's your end of life recycling. Let's have a look at the evidence. So the reason why we did the evidence is to analyze it against the customer requirements. So it's specific. So let's have a look at what it said. So, however, it lacks specific concrete evidence directly addressing to the operational logistical challenges delivering 1,000 laptops across 10 schools. There's no mention how deliveries be scheduled or coordinated across multiple locations, how risks such as staggered school availability, constraints will be managed, quantities. So, when I was doing IT laptop bids years ago, I could not. Uh, Once I started doing this, could not believe how powerful this platform was to use, and yeah, I'd have absolutely loved to use this years ago. So it gives you yes the improvement, and then it gives you the suggested paragraph. Now, just to be careful with obviously with evidence, this is creating it bespoke. So always maybe signpost it once you put it into a Word document to just say to delivery manager, account manager, have we actually done this? But what this is allowing you as a bid writer to do is add the suggestion snippets in based on requirements, add the new evidence. It's allowing you to have a look at the personas and go, okay, well, what's the account manager scoring? The head teacher, what are they scoring? What's the IT manager scoring? And the environmental compliance officer. So it allows you from day one of writing your response to look at what they're saying and what you're needing to improve. So, for example, let's just have a look at this one. So, client requirement fulfillment, and then yeah, to gather requirements, we conduct stakeholder interviews, distribute detailed surveys. So we can add that in here, for example. So what I like to do, how I do my bids is I will add stuff in and put, for example, I'll add stuff in and then put, for example, new text here. So I know obviously it's come from the second and then the second draft. So end text here. If we do that for text, end of new text. We'll build something in for this, but for the time being, it's quite easy to do. Yeah, quite easy to do that. Um, we look at student welfare, learning environment impact, and then student safety measures. So yeah, DPS checks, DBS checks really important. PPE. So deployment and on-site, we can add that to that there because that's really important. So text, just put it like that. See what else have we got here. So let's have a look at the school IT manager, the quality and lifecycle management. So lifecycle end of management. So yeah, we've put something in that. So you might see some overlapping, but yeah, it covers that. So ongoing quality and performance. So we could add that to continuous improvement. So yeah, what I do for speed is I will add the text in, and then I'll look to review it, see what the score is, and then put the word count down from there. So let's have a look just for speed where we're scoring. So if we run that now, we'll take off the generate paragraphs just because we don't need them. It just takes about 30 seconds longer to do the generate paragraphs as well. So yeah, we'll run the report again and see what score we're getting. So 56% last time. Right now you can see the score is significantly increased from 56 to 80%. So let's dive into some of these. So now you can see the scores have improved. So compliant end of life recycling disposal massively increased. Evidence is massively increased as well. Naturally, we've done it aligned to the customer requirements, so and it's created the content aligned to that. So, in my eyes, and what I've seen over the years is people go and find case studies and shoehorn them in. This is flipping the script, so you're actually basing the evidence on the requirements, and then what I would do is go and speak to the account manager, delivery manager, and say, look, did we have a help desk? Would it define SLAs, etc. So, okay, so we've got that in there. And then, okay, now this is, we've just thrown a lot of words in here. So it's probably 800 words over the word count. So what I'll show you is our AI bid helper, just to show you what it can do. So if we remove the new text and text, let me put in here, so reduce. So please can you provide this with a response with the owner of this process, and then provide bullets for the rest and reduce the word count by 20%. So what I like to do is I like to get to a higher quality. Now, based on our analysis of previous bids, we are, for example, we've had one bid where we scored at 69 and then the client scored at 68. We've had bids as well which have been anywhere from sort of 1 to 5% off the client score. So yeah, it's really accurate, really clever tool, and it allows me to trust it and do it on a day-to-day basis. So I mean, we can ask it for without the stars, but we'll just put this in here for the time being. So obviously we'd write out a bit more and just put, our project manager will oversee the following. I'm just doing it a bit more casually now, but as you can see, they can you can write out a bit more. You just ask it to say who's responsible and what they'll do. Give it a quick intro, and then you can see it in there. So our project manager will see the following requirements gathering management, and then it'll say exactly what they're doing. When I see first drafts of people, they just write paragraphs of paragraphs, really dancing around what they need to talk about. Whereas instead, if you take the requirements and then you ask it to do it in bullet points, you can see it just seems a lot stronger, a lot more effective with the bullets there, and reduces the word count. Okay, so just because it was a quick video, I wanted to show you, how to cover, set up requirements, personas, actually create your own specific ruling-based system as well, in terms of adding the case studies and the role personas as well. It's a super powerful tool. You can have this for a price of a coffee a day, to literally jump in. And I know bid writing can be a lonely world, so you can use this from day one to automate your responses, to review them and get to a really high quality, and then go and speak to, for example, your IT manager. And it should help bridge the gap then, allowing them to see their role persona and what they're thinking about, instead of just giving them a blank A4 response for them to review. Okay, so yeah, thanks for listening. And I just wanted to mention, if you head over to our website, you'll see our free workshops, which is covering this. We're doing it in more of a virtual sort of networking environment, as well as allowing you to have a play with the responses. So what we'll do is we'll cover anonymized responses from what scored 6 out of 10 and 8 out of 10, and the data you can see here. And then we'll allow you to use dummy accounts where you will put your question response in. You'll work in breakout rooms on Zoom to then improve your responses. So, okay, thank you for listening.